Grand Rising, kindred spirits. I hope you all have been doing your best. I've been doing my best, been keeping busy, and I'm back. And I just want to kind of share some thoughts today, being that I'm back on here. Excuse me. So I hope y'all can hear me. Let me get a little closer. I don't want to be all up in y'all face like that. Anyway, as I'm sitting and thinking, some stuff came to mind. And I don't expect everyone to take heed, but this is just based on my experience. Quiet is kept, and I am so grateful. I used to wish that, oh, I wish I was born during the time of technology. I'm so grateful and thankful. I'm not, because when I was young, when Black Planet was out, yeah, I was on there. I was a little bit addicted because, I guess when you're young, you know, you just want to kind of be free to explore and be adventurous and try things, try new things. So I get it. And sometimes as parents, being that I'm one and a grandparent, we want the best for our children. But what we should pay attention to, and again, we're not obligated. Just say this from personal experience. I don't feel obligated to do anything for my children except love them. But I do open myself up to them when they step to me correctly and ask for advice and not be all emotional, where it can be chaotic for me and them. Because sometimes, I mean, that happens where your children be all emotional and want to express something, but the emotions is running chaotic that you like, hold on, I can't operate this way. But what I do, and maybe that wasn't a but, maybe that's yet, I do realize that when you're able to break free of your parents' constraints and restraints, and you've been told you're grown at a certain age and you're living on your own, excuse me, the sky is the limit. And you're free to do whatever the hell you want to do without considering any consequences. Yet, parents, yeah, things can happen. And if these children get to a certain age and they don't realize that, and they're not taking precautions in their life, sometimes there's some things our souls got to bear. And I'm one of those mothers and grandmothers. You realize that sometimes, as much as we want to interfere with their lives, when they get to a point where they feel they're grown and they don't want to seek your advice, they don't want to be told, I told you so. or they know, because I'm not the one to throw that in nobody's face. I told you so. I just quietly in my head to myself be like, I know I told them that, but they got to realize all that for themselves. They got to know when to come to you and ask for help. But sometimes, yeah, we get them stubborn ones. They don't want to hear what you say. And even if they know in the back of their head you told them so, they're too stubborn to admit it. And that's when you get those who you just have to pray and hope they're protected, have the hardest downfalls. What I've also learned about having children is that you get to see yourself outside of yourself. Whether you give birth to a boy or a girl, you get to see it from a male's point of view and a female's point of view. As parents or grandparents, our life is a lifelong learning journey, whereas we don't still know everything. We have not experienced everything because you get to a certain age, you can ask those who are at a certain age when all this technology came out. They don't know how to function, or they feel they don't know how to function, or they got to get the grandbaby or the daughter and their son or somebody to help them. Can I get a witness? You realize you're one of those. So you got to be adult enough to recognize that if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not keeping up with trends that affects your daily living, like banking online, buying stuff online, because at some point, society is not going to cater to you mailing your bills, you walking to the store to get things out of a building. And if that still happens, it's because it's meant to happen, where, okay, we can go back to mailing our bills, but then you got to remember to check behind yourself to make sure that the money or the bill made it to pay your bill. Traveling to buildings. Now, I would love to be in those times. I'm okay with the cell phone, but I don't mind having the phones at home, because then you ain't got to worry about the cell phone doing damage to your brains and organs. So there's benefits. I enjoy eating farm-raised food, garden grown vegetables. I find that they're the freshest kind. So, as I was saying, not to get off the subject, as we mature and new souls come into this world, don't get beside yourselves because you've been here longer. Guess what? The new souls coming in are coming in with new ideas. They're still connected to the spirit realm. And you got some evil people in this world who try to cut them off, do damage to those new souls. So as we who've lived here in this world long enough to get some experience, with that experience, protect the new souls. Also remember, don't get too far in their way. Again, you're not obligated. You're open to love and willing to give advice if they want it. For those who are stubborn, you may just have to pray for them. Because at some point in their lives, if and when they wake up from being stubborn or just learn the ropes in this world, they will mature. And if they don't mature, you just say that's just one that got away. That's just one who very rebellious, had a mind of their own, and wasn't meant to last that long. And if they're meant to last long, you have a grandchild that you can teach from their example of how they don't want to be or need to be. Not saying always use them as an example because I tried that, so but that may not always work. But parents, grandparents recognize that how you teach has to be trendy as well. You can't teach a child based on your era and time you grew up. Even though there are certain lessons that do apply, you have to add some trendiness to it. Okay? Guess that's all I wanted to say. You know, that's what's been on my mind today. All right. I'm out. Take care.